Hello, Assalamualaikum, Mistress and everyone. Let me quickly introduce myself. My name is Rahayu and I'm a student of Pamulang University. Here in this video, I will present about the analysis of a play titled The Zoo Story as a final exam in my fourth semester. The Zoo Story is Edward Albee's play that was written in 1959. The story is about how a man who is consumed with loneliness starts up a conversation with another man on a bench in Central Park and eventually forces him to participate in an act of violence. A man named Peter, a complex man publishing executive of middle age and upper middle income, is comfortably reading a book on his favorite bench in New York Central Park on a sunny afternoon. Along comes Jerry, an aggressive, seedy, erratic loner. Jerry announced that he has been to the Central Park Zoo and eventually gets Peter, who clearly would rather be left alone, to put down his book and actually enter into a conversation. Issue 1. The issue 1 was about loneliness experienced by Jerry. Type of Jerry's loneliness and effect of Jerry's loneliness. The type of Jerry's loneliness are emotional loneliness, social loneliness, and negative loneliness. The effect of Jerry's loneliness are homosexual and suicide. Theory. Definition of loneliness. According to the Young Yearbook 1987-120, loneliness is a situation experienced by the individual as one where there is an unpleasant or inadmissible lack quality of certain relationships. This includes situations in which the number of existing relationships is smaller than is considered desirable or admissible, as well as the situation where the intimacy one wishes for has not been realized. Type of loneliness. According to Weiss 1973, there are two types of loneliness. The first one is emotional loneliness. Emotional loneliness stemming from the absence of an intimate relationship or a close emotional attachment, e.g., a partner or a best friend. The second one is social loneliness. Social loneliness stemming from the absence of a broader group of contacts or an engaging social network, e.g., friends, college, and people in the neighborhood. According to Zimmerman 1785-1786, there are two types of loneliness. The first one is positive loneliness. The positive type of loneliness is related to situations such as the voluntary withdrawal from the daily hassles of life and is oriented toward higher goals, reflection, meditation, and communication with God. The second one is negative loneliness. The negative type of loneliness is related to an unpleasant or inadmissible lack of the personal relationship and contact with important others. Effect of loneliness. According to Joyner's 2005 interpersonal theory of suicide, social disconnectedness represents a critical factor involved in the development of suicidal risk. Consistent with this view, findings from studies on loneliness have also implicated it as a reliable predictor of suicidal risk. According to the quotation 1, it shows Jerry's social loneliness. Jerry's logic here isn't that clear, but one big difference between humans and animals is that humans talk. If you're not communicating well with speech, maybe go look at some animals. You might not understand the ways they communicate, but at least there's nothing to understand. Maybe that makes Jerry feel more hopeful. In this case, Jerry is driven by a primal drive to counteract his deep sense of isolation. His loneliness results not only from a lack of friends and family, but also from deep intellectual loneliness, which he has built up over the years as he realized there is no one who truly understands and empathizes with him. Ironically, his attempts to rebuild his life consist of trying to explain himself and his thoughts to animals, beings that are even less capable of understanding him than a stranger like Peter. In a certain way, then Jerry cast is a futile and vicious circle. He works to find intimacy and then redoubles his intensity when he fails, meaning that the next failure will be doubly intense for him. Quotation 2 represents about Jerry being unpleasant to Peter, and it shows Jerry's negative loneliness. Jerry thought that the bench was something important to Peter when he was reading a book. Therefore, Jerry deliberately created a conflict by fighting over the bench from Peter. Jerry wanted the bench so badly. He even tried to threaten Peter by taking out and opening an ugly-looking knife. Quotation 3 shows Jerry's emotional loneliness, which stems from the absence of intimate relationships or close emotional attachments. Jerry tells Peter that he has no parents or aunts. His parents and aunt are passed away. After his parents and aunts died, Jerry lived in solitude as a lonely man with no one to talk to or share with. Jerry does not have any family or friends in his life. According to the quotation 4, Jerry is saying he doesn't talk to very many other people, but every so often he grabs a stranger and talks at them for a long time. He's saying, maybe not intentionally, that he's lonely. Quotation 5 shows the effect of Jerry's loneliness. He becomes a homosexual. He gets homo with Greek boy. Jerry really loves this man. They often have sex. The reason Jerry made a relationship with this man was because Jerry realized that he needed a friend who cared about him. Jerry also thought that sex was the only way to overcome his loneliness. He didn't think that there would be any other way than sexual. The point is, Jerry wants a friend to be able to make his life not be alone again. Quotation 6 is also the effect of Jerry's loneliness. At the end of this story, Jerry commits suicide with a knife. Jerry thinks he should die because the solution to his loneliness is death. Jerry stabbed himself with a knife in front of Peter's eyes. Peter shouted, "Pulse away!" leaving the knife in Jerry. Jerry is motionless, on point. When Jerry was dying, Jerry told Peter about the zoo and why he went to the park. Jerry told Peter that he went to the park to make friends so they could communicate with each other. That's all my presentation about the zoo story. I would like to finish this presentation with this wonderful quote. Love yourself. It is important to stay positive because beauty comes from the inside out. Thank you, stay safe, happy and healthy. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.